Welcome. Thank you for joining me. I've had a request to talk about Ephesians 5, and I'm happy to honor it. A quick background. Paul wrote his letter to the church in Ephesus, probably while in prison in Rome. Ephesians was more than likely a circular letter written to the churches in Asia Minor, what we call modern-day Turkey. Paul concludes his thought from chapter 4, where he described how Christians should relate to one another. He tells us that God, for Christ's sake, has forgiven us. We have to be followers of God. We see this echoed in 1 Peter 1:15-16. As he who called you is holy, you also be holy in all your conduct, because it is written, "Be holy, for I am holy." No immorality or greed must be found among us. Our language must be pure, nor should we let anyone deceive with empty words. We must be holy as God is holy, merciful as he is merciful, perfect as he is perfect, or as near to those attributes as we can be. We should do our very best to imitate his goodness. But he also gives us a very stern warning. The wrath of God comes upon the sons of disobedience. Therefore, do not be partakers with them. Ephesians 5, 6, and 7. All of us can fall prey on occasion, but we must take care not to be habitual offenders, and we must ask God for forgiveness when we fall short. The wonderful things Paul reminds us, for you were once darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. Walk as children of light. For the fruit of the Spirit is in all goodness, righteousness, and truth, finding out what is acceptable to the Lord, and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather expose them. For it is shameful even to speak of those which were done by them in secret. Ephesians 5, 8, and 12. That was our worldly life. We're now children of light. What a wonderful transition. Paul reminds us that walking in the light means constantly filling with the Holy Spirit. He tells us not to be drunk with wine. The Romans had festivals called Bacchanalia, that is, the festivals of Bacchus, the Roman Greco god of wine. Very secular. Drunkenness is a sin that seldom occurs by itself. It often goes hand in hand with many other sins. It's an affront to God and a stumbling block to us as Christians. Paul calls drunkenness dissipation. He means it's a waste of energy that should be focused toward God, toward Christ. Paul ends chapter 5 discussing our home life. This section may seem very outdated, yet it's exactly the plan God had laid out for us, and we find his plan throughout the Bible. Woman was given to man as a helper, that the Lord said, "It is not good that man should be alone. I will make him a helper suitable for him." Genesis 2:18. Make no mistake, woman is not subservient to man. Man comes from woman. Yet man is head of the wife, as Christ is head of the church. Ephesians 5:24. The woman is submissive to her husband in the Lord. Notice I said, in the Lord. I did not say that gives the man the right to order her around, to degrade her, or to lay his hands on her. No man, no real man, puts his hands on a woman. That is not what is meant. Likewise, husbands, live with your wives in an understanding way, showing honor to the woman as the weaker vessel, since they are heirs with you of the grace of life, so that your prayers may not be hindered. 1 Peter 3:7. Submission has nothing to do with being smart, more talented, or more value. Think of military ranking. A major is above a captain, who's above a lieutenant, who's above a sergeant, and so on. The sergeant may be the smartest one of the group. but because of their rank, they're submissive to the others. So husbands ought to love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself, Ephesians 5:28. It says what love is. The man in his right mind nourishes and cherishes his own body, and likewise does the same for his wife. When you neglect your wife, you neglect yourself. It will come back to hurt you. For this reason, a man shall leave his father and his mother and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one. Ephesians 5:31. Nevertheless, let each of you in particular so love his own wife as himself, and let the wife see that she respects her husband. Ephesians 5:33. I cannot do credit to an entire chapter in a few minutes when a pastor can spend an entire hour on a sermon of the same. However, I do hope I've given some insight into an important letter that Paul sent and the valuable thoughts he shared. Grace and peace with you. Have a blessed day.